Hey guys, and welcome to today's video. So I haven't posted anything on I work full time now, so I don't have time to even think about doing full time me doing videos. So try to do stuff like reading, like something like people like Reddit do. Read a post on Reddit and then give their thoughts on it, give their reaction. So this is, I'm gonna call it Reddit Rants. Alright? So, and today we have 4 to do. So, let's get into it. Child trespasses, demands dinner, and attempts to steal ours. Hello everyone, and welcome back to Tales from the Compound. Got a shorter one for you today, featuring the return of everyone's fave, Francis, and his entailed demands. Please see original post for Francis' origin and context on these stories, e.g. what the compound is. I'm not going to go through it. But pretty much this person lived in Abu Dhabi. How's it Dubai? One of those two places. And even though they were in a pretty high-end place, very high-end apartment, here in the it would be considered very high-end here in the U.S. Around them were entitled. But I don't know why money makes people entitled. So that I never got. Anyway, let's get into it. One evening, my family and I were enjoying a peaceful dinner on the back porch when we heard the sound of our garden's gates lock being opened. We could make out the silhouette of one Francis, speed walking up to the back of our house, followed slowly by the nanny. He sped up to our table before we had the chance to say anything and inquired, "What are you reading?" My parents were somewhat in shock, and considering they were a couple of wine glasses down, so I'm not gonna. They weren't sober, but I wouldn't go as far as to say they're drunk because it's wine. So, but it didn't or even buzz. I wouldn't even call them buzz. They're not sober, but they're not buzzed either. So yeah, is what I'm trying to say. Found his sudden presence quite amusing. My dad, we're just having a roast. Francis, how are you? Francis, I'm hungry. My dad, well, your nanny is over there. What would you like her to make you? Francis eyes the plate of pork sausages besides a roast chicken. Francis, I want sausages. Francis goes to eagerly snatch our plate, but my dad blocks him and luckily says, "Francis, these are pork sausages." Francis was a Muslim, as such was not able to have pork on religious grounds. Francis takes a moment to process this information, quickly adding, "Beef sausages then," staring at us expectantly, as if we were to go fetch him some, even going as far as to wave his hand at us after an awkward silent few seconds. My dad, "I'm sorry, Francis, we don't have beef sausages." Francis, crap. Not saying that one. That, like a specter in the night, he disappeared as quickly as he appeared, back into the night trailed by his nanny. Once again, if you enjoyed these, let me know if you want to hear more. I'm still building my favorite source, so that's going to be a dizzy when I find time to type it out. It's quite long, not gonna lie. For this one, Francis is, because his dad has a metric crap ton of money more than this, I'm gonna say anyone else in that compound, that he can pretty much, he can beat boss people around. It's wrong. Like, to me, the way he's being raised is not a good way to raise people. Because part of raising people is to teach them right from wrong. And to help them do that, you have to discipline them, teach them that this is wrong, you're gonna, if you do something wrong, you're gonna get in trouble for it. Because part of the raising crime rates nowadays, at least here in the U.S., to the fact that less and less parents are disciplining their kids and teaching them right from wrong. That and, well, cops being lazy. But that's a whole other rant. So, for people that have kids that have a lot of money, they're gonna grow up not knowing stuff they should know. They're not gonna know how to take care of it themselves. Which, again, is something as a parent, you're pretty much required to do. You're supposed to teach them right from wrong, and help them be independent. Whether that's chores around the house, helping with chores. So they get a job, take a chunk of it for bills. Or what some parents might do instead of doing towards bills, put it into a savings account or something for the kid. But I'm gonna get on to the second story. You would have moved if your car was normal. Okay. Don't know what they mean by car was normal. Let's get into it. Hello, friends. Last Friday was Veterans Day. Hug your nearest available veteran. 3-day weekend. Woo. Shame about Monday rolling around again. Sadly, my Veterans Day was blighted with the Karen customer. On that day, I went to the gym at the time I usually do, which evidently was a mistake. I didn't even make it to the door before getting yelled at by a wild Karen with a sense of entitlement that boggles the mind. I pulled into the parking lot to find the place absolutely overrun, which, while sometimes annoying, is usually fine. I just get in and get out, except on Friday, couldn't get into the place cleanly. I'm in the parking lot doing the slow patrol path trying to locate a park spot that doesn't require a trip on a route to get to and from the place when I find a boy of about 8 years old wandering in the driving part of the parking lot, looking down a mobile device or sensor. He's just slowly zigzagging, feeling evidently oblivious of my electric vehicle or anything other than what he's staring at, which is dangerous. Like that. Should he by now? No. By the time he's 8, no. If you're in a parking lot or on a road, you have to keep an eye on car. You have to know your surrounding. Let's get on with it. It was cute for the first minute, then I got bored. Bored me is a mischievous me. I rolled my windows down and hit the hotkey for my in-car whoopee cushion. Alright, Tesla. Because that's added to my hot bar. Only reason I said Tesla's whoopee cushion sound. As far as I know, Tesla's the only ones that have that. If you know of any other electric cars that have that, let me know down in the comments. Cars really can't use exterior speakers anymore. Volume set to reasonable human levels. It may be immature, but I do enjoy my sense of hearing. So the boy didn't get blasted by a sonic brush. Very clearly heard a recording of someone ripping gas. Kid jumps up 180 and then the waterworks sites goes out to find whichever parent got in there warned her in the first place. I talk to myself because, again, I never claimed I was an adult. I just happened to look like one. I'm gonna say this person's in his 20s, early 20s. I located a parking spot successfully, already mostly forgetting the encounter with the boy. Shima didn't laugh. There was a very irate mom with a still sniffling little boy waiting for me at the doors of the gym. Only one way in, sadly. Mom was fired up, furious at me for startling her precious angel. Do you mean he was meandering through traffic? If he drove a car that was normal, he would have known you were there and moved. Of course he would have heard you. He wasn't that out of it. Sadly, you can't blame him for not knowing you were there. In traffic. Don't large reason not that well to have a great day, and the picture must insisted. See her turn like a mustard, held the door open for her, gesturing for her to go first. Me stand used the other set of doors then ruined what little impetus near her to run back and grab Charles' arm because he was once again whatever the handheld thing was. My suspicions about this woman being a known quantity were confirmed when the girl he scans passes cuts the woman a look and rolled her eyes. Another thing I'm going to say is I'll leave it to Tesla because silent in the airbag. Because if it is a Tesla, it's one of the newer ones. I'm going to say from the last 3 or 4 years, at least. It has what some people call a Tesla cam, which is where you can where the cameras around the car, you can are actually recording. You can see it. So for the whole "you was walking in traffic" line, he could have easily said, "I have a Tesla, I can show you." And electric cars are supposed to be silent because they don't really have anything making noise except the tires. And of course, the speakers on the radio, around the car, but that's it. It doesn't have a noisy engine, so I'm definitely putting the blame for what happened on Karen because she's not doing her job as a parent, and like what she should have done is got the kid out of the car, kept the whatever the handheld device was. I'm gonna say it was probably an iPad. Till they got inside, then do whatever. But no. Well, that's just my opinion. There's another bad parent. Alright. Next story. Anaphylaxis. Remember how you ruined Christmas Eve, right? Anaphylaxis is pretty much that can happen if you eat something you're allergic to. You can go into anaphylactic shock, which pretty much means you ate something you're allergic to and it's doing shit to your body that can possibly kill you. Why? I know restaurants, as long as you tell them you're allergic to something, they'll make sure anything you eat doesn't have your allergy in it. Because it could be a lawsuit. And, well, that's pretty much it. And I had it for the restaurant because it's going to get corporate eyes on the restaurant, on that location. So, for families, it can actually be considered attempted murder if you purposely do it. If someone purposely puts someone's allergy into something they're gonna eat, and not tell them. So, because again, anaphylactic shock can be fatal. So this happened on our stuff. I was told recently to post here because it came up again. Main characters other than me are Snobby Aunt isn't related to me, call her Janice, and her husband is my mom's brother, but he's not relevant to the story. My mom is kind of the entire person throughout the story, though, so bear with me. Christmas Eve, we usually spend having a dinner at Janice's house. There's a bathroom connected to the dining room on the first floor, and this year the dinner was actually in the dining room, not on the attached covered porch like it normally was. So I'm gonna take Walker's head somewhere warm, because I'm sorry. I want to be out there if it's freezing cold out to eat dinner, unless I absolutely have to. Dennis doesn't believe in kid food, and children have TV dinners until they went to college. So this event always had ate everything. One of the worst events for me growing up because I have food aversions or food allergies. A lot of them. Everyone called it picky eating, and they still do. But a lot. Some of my family has some form of diagnosis waiting for me that my family just never wanted to check for. So I'm no medical person, so that can be a thing, but I have no idea. This particular year, I was 12 years old, and since I had, again, I ate more than some bread. Everyone was trying to get me to eat something, even though we were a 5-ish minute walk from home. Someone brings over a plate of chocolate chip cookies. It tells me to just eat them. Turn over a deck, and I still remember those cookies. I ate close to 10 of them. They're definitely the best cookies I've ever had in my life. After eating them, my mouth feels kind of tingly, and I start to feel sick. Like, really sick. I can't remember if someone was in the bathroom by the dining room or I was going through it, but I remember I excused myself to go to the upstairs bathroom, more over the kitchen, further away from where the food was. My lips felt swollen, tongue felt swollen, and I couldn't stop puking or crying. Mom came up after I just scolded me again for yelling, "They were just walnuts," as if I honestly puked that bad later about feeling that got a little bit tongue whistling because of walnut. Walnuts are a tree nut, and there's actually a good amount of people in the world that are actually allergic to tree nuts. It's one of the more common ones, which is why on things that have nuts in it, it'll say, warning, contains nuts. Unless if it's something that you wouldn't know if it had nuts in it, if it didn't have that warning, because it's not obvious. Madden, we leave because I ruined the putty. Then after walking home and crying, so she angrily gets me in the cars, yells at me until the first stoplight. I was too scared to keep going, so she turned around and went home. 7 years later, allergy test. If it's a thing completely unrelated, and I asked for a copy of my results after the doctor. And if I was even allowed to leave the house. A positive allergy was a 9-millimeter rash, like a bug bite. My skin reaction to cashews was almost 30 centimeters. I'm officially deathly allergic to tree nuts. Yeah, and rage is actually very common. Tree nuts and, of course, lactose intolerance are the two biggest things to be allergic to. Tree nuts and dairy, pretty much, which is what lactose intolerance is, because if people are lactose intolerant, it just means that their body can't digest dairy. You don't have, I think it's the enzymes for it, so I wonder how entitled my aunt and mom had to be to remind me every year how you run that one day, crying about swollen mouth, tongue, and throat biting into. Don't believe that was being such a bad that I was forcing myself to puke over cookies. I still believe to be the best I've ever eaten. Like, to me, I would consider the mom to be somewhat neglectful of her kid's health instead of being worried about her kid actually constantly throwing up. She was more worried about the party. Like, really? That is not right. It's wrong. So many lows. Well, only on a couple, actually. And for our last story. My old principal broke my inheritance whistle. So, who knows how old this one is, if it was, because if it's easily be something from generations, or it could be something that was sentimental with us, I don't know. Let's get, I had this whistle that I got from my grandparents after they passed. I loved that whistle and wore it around my neck all the time. It broke though, so it didn't make sound, but it looked cool to me. So I'm guessing it was quite old. Because I think whistles can only last so long before the noise part breaks. The principal side demanded me to give it to him, so I didn't show our class and other students with it. Even though I tried to explain it's broken, he took it from me. The other day I told my parents what happened and they were very angry. They were angry. Very angry. Drove me to school again and demanded to see my principal. And an hour later he told that my parents demanded the whistle back. I'd never take anything but me, but they called BS. Demanded that back or they would sue the school for inheritance theft. Mentors also gave it. When he gave it to me, I broke down crying. It was flat and like someone put something heavy on it. Fully broken, falling apart in my hands. My parents were absolutely livid. They sued him for theft and destruction of property. His lawyer met with my parents and our lawyer and asked to sell out of course for the cousin's place. And they eventually got money from them out of court. Not sure how much though, so, and of course this happened when OP was a kid, so either the parents never told him or he never found out, or most likely he doesn't remember. Which unfortunately was where we are, bro. Uncle who had a blacksmith hobby said he could melt the metal to recreate a whistle. And if it would work, but it would at least be made of the exact same metal of the other one. My parents agreed to melt down the broken metal, selling the compensation money to get some materials to make sure he could create the new whistle. Maybe 8 or 9 days later, he came to me and gave me the whistle. I was so happy. Dinner shop giving him big shot. It still didn't work, but I was happy to have the whistle back again. I've never heard of inheritance theft. Like, I've heard of destruction of private property, but not inheritance theft. So, suing for theft, I don't know where inheritance theft came from. So I don't even know if that's a real thing. But what the principal did was wrong. Like, if it looked old, just let him have it. As long as it's not a danger to anyone, just let him have it. Like, that one had a special meaning to it. That was a special meaning to it because it was pretty much what he got from his parents after they passed. I mean, not his parents, his grandparents. So, it had sentimental value to him. So, was it, like, do I think the principal's in the wrong in this one? Yeah. I agree with what the parents did, 100%. I would have done the exact same thing. I would have been very angry. Went down there, had a meeting with the principal, asked for it back, and once I saw it, I would have immediately said, we are suing. Like, do I know if the principal kept his job after that? Didn't say, so I'm gonna say no. I don't know. Because I know in some districts, a lawsuit like that can be enough for them to want to fire the principal. No, there are some where they don't. They'll just take it as a warning and hope the principal learns their lesson. Alright guys, this is going to be the end of, I'm going to call it r/entitled people. You know, how two of them were from entitled parents, the other two were from entitled people, but they're both still entitled. So, hope you all enjoyed, and if you have, hit that like button down below if you haven't already. Hit that subscribe button. I'll try to get another video out tomorrow, so stay tuned.